guys, and today I'll be talking about the first chapter of this book called Lincoln, a photobiography by Russell Friedman. Now, how I memorize the name of the author is like the last name. Russell is like I think of Brussels, and Friedman I just think of the word free or freed because like freed. Get it? Well, I'll talk about this later while we are talking about the chapter. It'll come in again soon. Now let's just talk about the chapter for now. Now, chapter 1 is Mysterious Mr. Lincoln. Now, as we know, Mr. Lincoln was one of the most photographed person of his time. If you look at his picture, he has a cheekbone, and also he became president. And a cheekbone as the president of whole Abraham Lincoln. It's not pretty good to criticize the president, though. The photographers who photographed Lincoln, though, always said that they missed the real part of Abraham Lincoln. Couldn't get the real part of Abraham Lincoln in his shot. So they just took out the shots, and he looks a little pale and of course, serious. Like how the cover looks like. Serious Abraham Lincoln. Well, that's how everybody knew him as serious, and we know him as popular today, but in his time, he was pretty unpopular. Until he won loads of victories in the Civil War, though. And speaking of the Civil War, he did help going for the Civil War, and he was president for 6 years. For the first 4 years were his term, he was spent the whole of those years at the Civil War. But then after that, his presidency was almost over, and then it was like one of his troops were so dumb, if you can say, tried to go against him and tried to go elected as president, but he only got 8%. And Abraham Lincoln was like 92%. Yeah, like that. And then, Abraham Lincoln easily won the election because he actually had loads of victories. And before the election, he got one more victory. And everyone was like, yay to Abraham Lincoln. And that's how Abraham Lincoln became president for 6 years. It could have been like 8 years, but because after the war, after 6 years of fighting, the war was over, and he tried to get a president as a calm place. But later, he was at a theater, and he was watching a comedy. He seemed to be enjoying it, and he seemed to be enjoying it. But for now, that will be talking about other chapters. I've actually went too far. And also, this also talks about Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was a runaway slave who ran away from the South to the North to be free. First, he criticized the president, like he wasn't worthy enough for his office. But later, after he died, he was like pretty good, and he says about the 16th president like this: his greatest mission was to accomplish 2 things. First, to save his country and his loyalists, and second, to free all the slaves and the sin of slaves and the great crime of slavery. Taking for all and measuring the tremendous magnitude of the work before him, considering the necessary means the ends, and surveying the end from the beginning, infinite wisdom has seldom sent any man into the world better fitted for his mission than Abraham Lincoln. And that's how chapter 1 really ended. There'll be more videos on other chapters. There are 7 chapters in this book, so there will be 6 more videos upcoming. Hope you'll enjoy them, and I'll see you in the next episode. Shinhan out. Peace!